Hey, this is actually section number 6 of the lesson that we had today on September the 12th. And so this is just, I wanted to give you a final message because the battery went out, and that was entirely my fault that the battery went out in the camera. And I had tried to remedy that by, at the moment I was leaving the house, I plugged the battery in on the drive to church, and then left the battery being charged for at least 5 minutes before class, but it just didn't work all the way to the end, and I'm sorry about that. So, Jackie, you were the one speaking at the time the battery knocked out, and I'm really sorry about that, but I am glad that you did get a chance to talk. All right, let me do a summary of today's lesson. For those of you who were there, this is probably really important because there was much discussion about the way we did things in class today, and I just want you to know that this was a test. This was just an emergency test system of the emergency exhortation committee of the government. Now, I don't know. Now I want to almost start this over again. But the point was this, and that was we got through today's lesson and we got through this thing that we did today. We're going to be doing different things. Here's what's important. I think it's important that we learn how to broach those subjects with people that we are very friendly with in Sunday school, in the Barnabas group. And what we learn in Barnabas group, we're going to be taking outside to the rest of the world. And so will you bear with me, and please, as we try to figure out what's the best way to do this. Some of you were so uncomfortable that you're considering not going. Some of you left class because it was just too uncomfortable. Some of you, it was uncomfortable and you let it be known to other people, and I've heard about that. I really enjoyed it. But then again, see, that's the interesting thing. My gifts are the gifts of encouragement, exhortation, and teaching, and so I can go up to somebody and say, hey, how can I pray for you? Some of you have a difficult time broaching a spiritual subject with anybody. I mean, like asking, hey, how can I pray for you? Like asking, what encouraged you this past week? Or asking someone, hey, could you pray for me about this thing? And I know those are difficult things. And will you keep coming to Barnabas group? And anyway, so I thought it was a very good experiment today. We're not going to do the same thing every time, so don't worry. There's not going to be that thing that happened this week today. But we are still going to continue to talk about how it is that we love one another. That's going to be a continuing theme, I think, from now until the rapture. And so, anyway, that's just something that we need to learn how to do. But I do want to appreciate those who were there and those who did participate. I got to talk with people that I hadn't met before, and encourage people who I knew do things outside of class. I was told by a couple people that, hey, Dennis, we don't need to do this because we do this before class, and you don't know about it because you're never there before class. And that's really true. I accept that as kind of, I needed that little rap on the knuckles. And it's true. I'm not there oftentimes early, and you guys are doing that. But the thing that you oftentimes do when you're there in class early is just talk with each other. I want to go to the next level, and that is when you talk, there's this hill you go over where all of a sudden on the other side of the hill, there's spiritual things. Like, hey, what do I need to pray for you about? And, and I love you enough that I do want to pray for you about that. Those are the things that I'm thinking of. So anyway, bear with us all as we try to learn how to make Barnabas group be a better group. Now, I've had a lot of time to think this through, changed my mind a number of times, and here it is in the evening on September 12th, and I have eaten, and I'm sitting by the fire, and actually in the background are my wife and Roxanne, and we've had a wonderful afternoon just kind of talking about what took place today in Sunday school. And so we did pray. We were praying about this. when it was going on. And so we're learning, all right? We're all learning. And I appreciate some of the things that people said, like, we want to hear you teach more. Well, that was great for me. That really wasn't what I was after today, but I did hear that a little bit. And so, well, actually, I heard it from more than one. But will you just, if you are watching this, just think next week of something that you could bring to class that would encourage someone, or think of something where you really do need prayer, and be open enough to let somebody pray for you. That's all we're trying to do. We're just trying to do things so that we can get to know and love one another. Because if we can't do this in Barnabas Group, let me tell you, folks, it ain't going to happen out there in the real world. All right? So anyway, I love you all. I had a great time talking with people that I hadn't talked with before, and it's shame on me for not having talking with you all before. When I did, I learned some new things today, and anyway, come back next week, all right? See you then.